Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to do a Q&A. This is like the most OG, I feel like, style video, a solid Q&A. I asked you questions on Instagram. I normally ask on Instagram, so if you ever want to be involved or you ever just feel like you want to ask a question, feel free to follow me on Instagram, you know? That's what we do these days. I asked a bunch of questions last week, and I was planning on filming this Q&A last week, and then it got pushed to this week, and I figured divine timing, today's perfect. And I even actually asked you guys to send in any last minute questions you maybe had up to date, and I'm just going to go through some of the questions here, and then obviously last week's questions. I'm not sure how many we'll answer, but we'll see how the time is. And if you guys like these videos, I'll do more in the future. What's your favorite exfoliator? We have a similar skin type. I'm sure you've spoken about this before. For like a topical exfoliator, I love the Dr. Lancer scrub, and I use the one that's like for sensitive acne prone skin. It has like kind of a eucalyptus or tea tree oil kind of scent to it. It literally clears your skin up very quickly. For chemical exfoliant, I love the Exfoliate like AHA, BHA treatment. You literally put on for 2 minutes. I do like 5 to 10. Once I got crazy into 20, my skin was red for like 3 hours, so don't do that. Yet it was quite smooth the next day, but those are my top 2. I'll link those down below. Blush highlight do I have on this photo. This is I'll insert the photo here. This is the blush highlight combo I've been wearing. It is the from the Lele Pond's Tarte palette. It's the blush in there. There's only one. It's called Playa. I love that one. And then for highlight, I mean, this is like my current favorite highlighter. I mean, you can see I've used this every day, I think, for like the past month to 3 months. It's called Indiscretion. I'll link that down below. It's what I've been wearing in my photos pretty much every day if you're seeing any sort of posts. How do I make healthy living my new lifestyle? It's kind of a common theme of the questions I get, whether it's like, how do I eat healthier? I'm gonna take the venison from her because they're teaming up right now. Whether that be you're trying to eat healthy, you're trying to work out more, whatever, making healthy changes. So I think the first step in making any change is you have to be firm in the change. You can't just be like, yeah, I'm gonna try to eat healthier. Yeah, I'm gonna try to work out more. You have to have something in you that you're like, this is it, I'm going to do this. And you need to make a very affirmative change. And when that happens, I mean, Dr. Joe Dispenza talks about this frequently. When you have such a powerful energy of like, I'm going to make a change, this usually happens when a breakthrough event happens. So in, let's say, one-on-one type of things, whether it's a big career change, a big interpersonal change, like a breakup or something, or a falling out, or whatever it may be. So when some major change happens, or someone like, I'm not trying to use negative examples, but oftentimes it is, I don't want to say negative because nothing's black and white, right? It's all duality, but usually something that is more perceived as negative occurs. You know, sometimes something negative is literally rerouting for you onto your correct path. You've learned the lessons, time to integrate them and move on. That's when you have an intense energy flow through your body and signal to your body that it's time to change. So basically when your energy is that strong in I'm going to make a change, it literally signals to your body, this, for lack of a better, this bitch is serious. Like it starts literally creating changes within your body, and you can measure this. And if you're more interested in like the kind of psychology of how very firm feeling and energy, like a very firm shift in energy can change all the inner workings of your body, I suggest you watch Dr. Joe Dispenza. He's fascinating on YouTube and on Gaia TV. It's not a sponsorship at all. He just is incredible at explaining very not difficult concepts, but sometimes difficult to comprehend concepts in a very everyday practical kind of way. I don't know if everyday, but like, yeah, very practical way. But basically you have to have something in you that's like, I'm going to eat healthy. Whether, I mean, like I'm saying, it oftentimes can be like you're just sick of I don't want to say sick of it, you don't like the way you are like looking, or you don't like the way you're feeling, so you decide to make a change. The first step is you have to make a firm decision. So let's say you're gonna start, I would always start with eating healthy, because you cannot outwork a bad diet. How you look is 90% food, and I know it's sometimes hard to believe, but I can tell you from personal experience, being very careful currently. I'm trying very closely to not eat dairy or gluten, and no processed foods and things like that. And as soon as I made that additional shift in low sugar, I saw results in 2 weeks, and I looked better in 2 weeks than I did in those 3 months of intense training, just like still having dairy, gluten, and more sugar than I should. And so I'm just saying, like, I would 100% start with diet if you're trying to get healthier, and then work your way into working out. Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what Mia fun it is to ride in diagram. It needs to be concrete. So you have to tell yourself the why. You really need to have a very big why. So let's say you're tired of feeling lethargic, not having enough energy, don't like the way you look, whatever it is that you do not currently like, you're going to probably use that as your why, but on the opposite spectrum. So you'd be like, you know what, I want to feel energized. I want to feel like I have mental clarity. I want to feel eating healthy. Literally, if you're eating properly, you really can, the frequency of the food can really stabilize. I mean, this is going really into everything like that, but stabilize your energy, aka your mental clarity, your mood, your emotional stability, your ability to have dignity, self-worth, things like that. It all really translates as within, so without. But basically just find a reason, whether it's like, I want to have better energy, I want to have mental clarity, I want to feel better, I want to feel more energized, I want to feel more inspired, I want to look better, I want to feel comfortable in my clothes, I want to feel confident. Have a strong why and start there and make a game plan. So whether you're going to, let's say, eat healthy, plan what every Sunday, you're going to meal prep for 3 days, and then maybe Wednesday night meal prep for 3 more days, 4 more days, or whatever. Maybe have a plan, a general plan that you're going to follow. Like, I am going to go on Sunday at 11:30 a.m. to, I don't know, Trader Joe's, Whole Foods, Sprouts, whatever, Erewhon if you live in LA, and you're frisky, like wherever it is, have the set plan and then follow it. You have to execute, and it's gonna feel weird for your mind at first, like I said, to make the change, but when you're serious about it and there's a shift, the energy of you declaring something to yourself and to the universe, like, I am doing this, that energy creates a very powerful momentum, and that momentum will carry you if you allow it. Obviously, you have to move forward with it, but like, you make the decision, you have like that excitement, that pop, like a bunch of people that get Body by PB, my nutritional guide. There's no description. I don't push that on anyone. It works. You can look at my Instagram highlights to see people who have shrunk their waistline, lost weight in 2 weeks. It's incredible. But like the excitement of getting it and then getting the groceries for it and then cooking it, you have the positive momentum that's moving you forward, and that is what's going to create that immense change. A lot of relationship questions, and I guess I'm going to answer with one main theme. It all kind of ties back to this. A lot of people are asking, like, how do I know if this person's the one? How do I not get clingy? How do I not get attached? A lot of relationship questions. It's like the most saturated thing here. And the question that I feel like it really all ties back to is this one, which is how to prevent codependency. I feel like most issues stem in a relationship from codependency, because if there was no codependency, you would be able to make more rational decisions. Because, okay, let's just go through a quick scenario. What usually happens is two people meet. Oftentimes one or both people are strongly seeking a relationship. That is most situations in our society. So there's already a level of desperateness. I don't want to call it that, but that is what it what the underlying theme is, right? So one or both people are really desperate for something to work. And so when you're desperate for something to work, you make sacrifices. You don't make, and it's one thing to later in a relationship that's healthy to make compromises, but it's one thing before someone has earned a place in your life to sacrifice your well-being, your success, your boundaries, your stability, and everything like that. But what happens is these two people come together, one codependent, usually it's one person's codependent and one person, it's a spectrum, right? Like usually one person's more emotionally unavailable and one person's more codependent. That's honestly how it usually occurs. Like there's tons of studies that talk about this, and then it's kind of scaled out. So then it's on different scales. So someone can be super codependent, someone can be super unemotionally available, someone can be like a little bit codependent, someone's a little bit emotionally available. To find like a truly, I think, healthy and reciprocal relationships is rare, to be honest. I don't mean that in a negative way. It's because for you to be emotionally healthy and well, you really have to be, I think in general, you have to be a mindful, grounded person. You have to have some sort of belief, like some sort of, I don't want to say spiritually, but some sort of belief in like how you act impacts others type of kind of belief, I guess, like in a faith or a karma sort of being. You have to have worked through, you have to be self-aware and conscious of yourself to see when you're projecting or when issues from your past or from your childhood are coming up, and have the courage and discipline and energy to work through that. Like two generally healed, healthy people, that's like what an ideal relationship is, and that's like what you would want and what you should strive for. But of course you have to work on yourself first in order to have that. And what's the most beautiful thing is when you heal and work on yourself, you create so much self-love within yourself and such a strong sense of self that you're not going to tolerate things that don't serve you. So going back to the example, so because one person usually is more desperate for the relationship, they're going to self-sacrifice, and it starts small. It starts very small. And I mean, if you want, I can link a ton of studies of what I'm talking about. I just have read tons and tons of books and so many articles, and so whenever I'm speaking from a collection of personal experience, intuitive things I've coached through clients, and research that I'm bringing together to give an explanation. But if you guys like want me to start linking like tons of articles and stuff for you, maybe to have more references, let me know and I will. But just know that when I am speaking, it's like based off like tons of research that I've read, lots of personal experience, lots of client experience, and so like and intuitive. So it's I wouldn't be saying something that I didn't truly like believe or know to be true, right? So anyway, so someone is a little bit more desperate, so it starts with self-sacrificing. I talked about this before, like a get ready with me, people got very triggered, but it starts with sacrificing small things, like even let's say going on dates and staying out later than you normally would. It starts off small. It starts off like staying later than you would on dates, and then sacrificing your mornings, even though people can say like, oh, have some fun, whatever, like shake up your routine. For most people, like the way that their morning's up and their structure of the day impacts their entire day. So if their morning is thrown off, or their health and nutrition and well-being is thrown off, your whole day is thrown off. And I'm just saying, I don't find it in my personal opinion, my humble opinion, just like I said, this is just my opinion, someone has not earned a spot in your life yet, or like, yeah, it's just like at that point, it's still just kind of someone. I mean, self-love really should come first. And at that point, it's still someone, and I'm an empath and someone who has really learned these types of lessons where I would self-sacrifice, I would put everyone above myself, I would meet everyone else's needs but my own, I'd be highly sensitive to others. Like, I feel things even more, I would say, than the average person. If you're an empath, you know exactly what that's like. So for me to say this, it's coming from a place of truly experiencing it personally and seeing it in so many of my clients and seeing it. I mean, it's studied all the time, but basically you start making these small sacrifices, like staying out too late, and then in the morning, I mean, you're maybe hungover, then you don't work out, then you're not as productive at work, you're not feeling as good at work, then you're not making the best. Everything in our world is a domino effect. All of our choices are like as within, so without. As I said, if you are strict about, let's say, eating clean, you're usually more self-disciplined in other areas of your life. That's why movements, like, I don't want to bring this up, but this, like that whole no-fap men's movement of like basically not, it's because it teaches self-discipline. And so if you can be self-disciplined, it's something that's difficult, it's a lot easier to apply self-discipline in other areas. If you can make yourself eat healthy, have this, like, the self-discipline to say no to things that aren't good for you, to cook at the times you need to at restaurants make healthy choices even under peer pressure, you're going to have more self-discipline to work out every day or however many days you do. You're gonna have more self-discipline at your job and your career. You're gonna have more self-discipline with the activities and the time for yourself. You're gonna have more, when you have self-discipline in one area of your life, it translates to everything. And so when you start sacrificing things like going late past your bedtime, then you're skipping your workout, then you're not eating as healthy, then you're not as productive, and then it becomes a domino effect, and you are literally trickling down the fulfillment of your life and the quality of your life for this idea of something. And I understand how alluring it is because I have been there. It's like you meet someone new, it's very exciting, especially in the beginning. Everyone is going to put their best foot forward. That's what most humans do. And so you create this whole narrative and idea, and so you begin to place this narrative on a pedestal, and then think of the sacrifices you're making as not so large, because you don't see the impacts of them. Just like you don't see the impacts of eating healthy and working out every day immediately, you don't see the impacts of not feeling good at work, skipping your workouts, not eating healthy until maybe a month or so, or even further along, right? So, and then what all happens a lot of the time, let's say it doesn't work out, then not only did that thing didn't work out, but then you self-sacrificed your whatever, like work, career, health, and on top of that, obviously any human emotion is going to be upset when something doesn't work out. And so that's why it's important to set yourself up to be the most like grounded and centered in yourself, so you can assess situations with mental clarity. I cannot tell you how many times when I've been in that kind of situation, then you're obviously your nutrition's not on point, everything's not on point, so your energy, your frequency, the thoughts that you're thinking are also not on point. And so whatever situation just happened is going to be internalized a lot more of an intense and difficult situation. You're gonna think, this is so sad, this is over, whatever. This is just an example. Of course it can work out, and I'll talk about that also scenario in a second, but you basically you would take it as like a hit, like you take it as like a punch when it was just like a knock on the shoulder, right? If you were continuously setting boundaries and putting yourself first, let's say, and it didn't work out, right? You would take it as like a punch. You would still be grounded in yourself. You would still be making progress in your health, your vitality, the fruitfulness of your life and the fulfillment of your life. So it would not be taken as such a strong kind of jab. It would just be like, oh, that didn't work, whatever. I'm stable and I'm grounded in who I am as a person and what I have going on in my values and aspirations. That doesn't impact you. Let's say it continues on, right? Like, let's say it is successful. So if you're in the first situation where you're sacrificing, you're going to start making more sacrifices because you're going to start having more feelings and more emotions, right? Love, people talk about this, the chemicals are going to be released. It's going to be a lot more difficult to do the things that you need to do for you because it's going to seem much more alluring to go hang out with this person. So you're going to start sacrificing more and more and more. A year, 2 years go by and then you feel like you've lost your sense of self, right? So then you feel like you have lower self-worth because you've lost your sense of, you were like, oh, I'm not as fit as I was, or I haven't made as much when the rose-colored glasses come up, I haven't made as much progress in whatever career, whatever it may be. And so because of that, you're not going to have the same self-esteem, and so you're going to cling on to the relationship that you have even more, even if it's unhealthy for you, or even if it is healthy. You don't want to be, you're going to start, you get what I'm saying? It doesn't turn positive when you sacrifice your boundaries, because then it doesn't come out now, it comes out later, and it's a lot more difficult later. So then like you're going to cling on harder to that because you're like, wow, like I'm not who, like you don't feel the best about yourself, whatever it is. You may feel like you sacrificed so much for this person, so now you've created this person to be of so much value. You're like, it's almost like when you work really hard for your body and you made a lot of sacrifices, all the food you didn't eat or the food that you did eat or the discipline you had, so of course you value it so much and you want to keep this achievement. So then you think of like all the self-sacrifice that you've made for this person, and you're like, no, like you're staying. And then you begin to tolerate behavior that maybe you wouldn't tolerate if you had higher self-esteem. You begin to allow yourself to be treated in ways, like I said, that you wouldn't normally be. You stay in situations with maybe someone who you don't even think is compatible because of the sacrifices and time you've already invested in, etc. So that's why most relationships, if you dial it back, have issues. That's why it's so important, and people put such an emphasis now, especially therapists and psychotherapists and people who psychoanalyze others and researchers. They put such a heavy focus on developing a sense of self, and a strong self-love is just so vague, but yeah, like basically if you have I would call a deep sense of self and a deep sense of integrity and discipline. Yeah, and it's like a balance of integrity and discipline and dignity, where like you set boundaries, and setting boundaries, it doesn't mean you're that firm, it just means you don't sacrifice. So you still go on the date, maybe you just don't stay out super late, so you can still have a lovely time, but still make sure that you feel healthy and fulfilled in your life. And this is especially important for empaths or highly sensitive people, because you are sensitive to things like this. So if one day you throw off your routine, you can feel very shaken, you can start getting negative thoughts, and you can spiral quickly. Even myself too, because I'm sensitive in that way. So that's why I make it a priority to structure my day in a fulfilling way and prioritize my health and well-being, you know what I mean, over whatever it may be. So basically, if you are setting boundaries, it just looks like, just going home maybe a little bit earlier, or saying no to the second drink, or if you have a work project to plan for a different, let's say you really want to see them on a Wednesday, but you have a work project, instead of self-sacrificing, making it difficult for you to the work project the next day, you wait a few more days and plan the date for Saturday. Or saying it's in very small ways that boundaries are created and broken, but it's those small ways that create the structure and the kind of law of the relationship for a good amount of time. Like I said, you set boundaries and it doesn't work out, it's amazing, you are fulfilled and everything's great. You set boundaries and it does work out, and it's even better. It's that way it's a healthy relationship. You eliminate the codependency in the relationship, gradually or even fully. You do not lose your sense of self, you don't use your self-esteem, you are more grounded and more able to make clear-minded decisions of whether a situation is or isn't compatible to you, and you're not making decisions out of fear or out of a feeling of, basically you sacrifice a lot, basically out of a feeling of fear or out of a desperateness. You stay self-assured in your energy and in your confidence, and I find that to be very important. I really summed that up in a very general sense, but hopefully that example can really illustrate, I feel like, a lot of issues that relationships have and why they occur. And it can be in any gender, like it can be the girl, it can be the guy begins to self-sacrifice, the girl, it's you know what I mean. This example that I just illustrated, the boundary setting and the self-love, that's where I saw this quote on Twitter that was like, self-love is the limitless pill, and it truly is, because once you have a sense of self and dignity, you you are like, you're shielded. I don't say shielded, but you're very grounded, right? You're not going to, when we tolerate less than we deserve and things like that, it's out of the feeling of not being good enough. And I've been there too. I don't even think that because I'm answering these questions now and have like integrated, you know, so many experiences in my life, it's through lots of trial and tribulation and so many experiences that I've had that I can come to these conclusions personally and through coaching people and through research and reading, because I'm very huge on that. I'll try to link. People also ask me book recommendations. I try to post on Instagram whatever book I'm reading at the moment. Right now I'm reading, by the way, A Course in Mastering Alchemy. I'll link it down below if you're interested and it resonates with you. Take a look, but yeah, so I don't ever mean it to come off like it's so easy. It's not, you know, easy. It's literally reprogramming your mind and your belief system. So it's not just, you know, you decide, it's not just like, it is you decided, but it's like you decided in that moment. It's powerful, but you have to continue with the momentum. Like I said with the workout thing, like you need to, you know, even when it's so much more tempting to go and self-sacrifice and you miss your workout class, miss whatever you're gonna do, cancel with your friends or whatever to go do the other thing. It's to, in that moment, ground yourself and make the decision as a new you. Think of it like whenever I come into a situation I can feel some sort of test, I try to tell myself, okay, it's gonna be old me or new me who's gonna make the decision. And if I wanna be this new me and have this and have these characteristics and traits as a person, I cannot be making decisions as the old me. As I have to make sure that I'm making decisions coming from the new and evolved person I am, and that is the integration. We all have knowledge from lessons, and it's in integration that we really level up and become the better version or the next version of ourselves, right? So yeah, hopefully that was helpful in any sense, and you can kind of understand how it's first everything starts with a decision, and then it's continuing that momentum through your actions, even when it's not easy, because you're literally, like, you have to remember, you're rewiring your mind. And so if your mind is always way to like self-sacrifice or self-sabotage and go to that thing, or be a little bit more desperate and reply to that, or do things you're not comfortable with, or go places you're not comfortable with, or be in situations you're not comfortable with, then it's going to take it's going to take a conscious effort to shift that. And with each decision, you're creating a new neurological pathway each time you're making that decision to shift and act as a new and evolved person of yourself with those boundaries that serve you. And it's going to look different for everyone, right? You are literally creating a new way of being, and eventually a month, 2, 3, 4, 6, a year, it's going to become who you are as a person. And it's your boundaries are just going to be your character of your level of self-respect. So hopefully that was helpful. I had so many relationship questions, so I really just wanted to go fully into that explanation. So hopefully that was helpful to anyone. Again, if you ever have any questions or anything like that, you can feel free to message me on Instagram. If you guys enjoyed this video, again, if you have any questions, feel free to message me on Instagram. I'll have any of the info and things I talked about down below for you guys. I love you guys so much. If you resonated with my energy, feel free to subscribe. Let me know if you want more Q&As. I do want to kind of do more. I like to answer questions, update you on my life, because I know I just get the whole message on Instagram, so it's just nice to put it in one video. And then I love answering any of the questions and advice type of situations. I think those are really incredible to answer, especially if, you know, you've gone through things and you've researched things and you've seen things and you have some knowledge. You know, it's like we go through things and learn and heal them so we can do the same for others, and others can do the same for us. And so I just feel like it's a circular motion. Please leave me a comment if you wanted to chat about something down below. I truly love you guys. I hope you guys are having an amazing day ahead, a nice holiday, or just a nice week, regardless of whatever you did. I hope you guys are doing well, and I wish you the best, and I will see you guys very soon in a new video.